November of '98. An important date for a lot of gamers, including myself. This is when Half-Life released, and it was huge. Everyone wanted to play it, and everyone wanted to be a part of it. Game magazines and critics were praising it, and it was on its way to become the next big thing. We all knew that Half-Life was gonna be the game of the year, and in retrospect, we were right. But something else happened in that November, just 2 weeks before Half-Life. Another game release. A pretty similar game actually, but no one could steal the spotlight from Half-Life. Especially not another FPS. Quite a few games tried to compete against Half-Life around that time, and they all failed miserably, including today's game, SiN. SiN released on the 5th of November, while Half-Life on the 19th. I think you already know what happened, right? Buying 2 full-price games in a span of 2 weeks was a luxury back then. Let me remind you, Half-Life was sold for $49 in 1998. That's insane. So most people just skipped on SiN and waited for Half-Life's big boom. To make matters even worse, SiN was quite buggy and had some technical problems on the release day. Despite all this, the people who actually bought the game liked it. It also received a great feedback from the critics. But unfortunately, we all know how it goes with publishers. Money talks, and the sales were dreadful. So Ritual Entertainment, the studio behind SiN, was not happy. But I think it's worth talking about their story as well, because I think these guys might have been cursed. They start working on SiN, they have a lot of ideas, good concepts, then they lose to Half-Life in '98. In 2002, they start working on Condition Zero single player. You know, there's a Counter-Strike game that nobody played because of Source. Anyway, they finished the project, but Valve doesn't like it at all, so they hand it over to Turtle Rock. Since that didn't work out, they start focusing on another take on SiN, with an episodic release on Steam, but only one of the planned 9 episodes comes out. In the meantime, they start working on a SiN 2 prototype, and the studio gets acquired in 2007, and all the work is shut down. So it's clear that they were passionate about SiN and had great ideas and wanted to make it work. Unfortunately though, Ritual Entertainment was cursed from the beginning. But that's enough sobbing over the past, we are not here for that, right? Let's see what SiN looks like. SiN is also running on the Quake 2 engine, just like Kingpin, another great game I talked about. So if you haven't seen that video, go and watch it now. Anyway, this game is different from Kingpin, however, because this time we work for the good guys. We are in 2037. The police force has basically collapsed because it couldn't handle the amount of crime throughout the city. We play as a private security officer called Blade. No, not that Blade. If you haven't already guessed from the name, this dude is a freaking tough guy. I'm talking Duke Nukem type. Maybe a little bit less gross, though. But he's completely ribbed and puts on sunglasses to a bank heist mission. That's all I'm gonna say. JC, our sidekick, is gonna help us during the missions through radio. He's basically a computer nerd who can hack stuff. He also wears sunglasses for some reason. I'm pretty sure that's an important accessory for a hacker.
Hacking, Hackerman, code, software.
And he kinda looks like Johnny Test from Tamu. Big dude with the long hair, slim blonde guy with glasses and short hair. No way. These guys are Carmack and Romero. I can't believe no one's seen this yet. Anyway, the game starts off with a mission where we have to intercept a robbery in the city. Of course, we arrive alone with absolutely no backup in a helicopter and shoot everyone up with a minigun. That's quite a dramatic intro. JC will always be in the loop and he will always have something to say, and these conversations are quite hilarious actually.
Blade, what the hell are you shooting at?
Cannon, JC.
Come on, you know me. I love these little interactions. Anyway, after blowing some stuff up and blowing even more stuff up, we chase the bad guys through a construction zone, and it turns out that the plot is thicker than we originally thought. Mancini, the guy who led the heist, works for Alexis Sinclair, who is like the big boss Elon Musk of Syntech, which is like a huge corporation. So she only wanted a deposit box out of the bank. Mancini, however, launched a full-blown heist, so understandably, she's not happy, and injects Mancini with something, which I suppose is not flu vaccine. Well, it looks quite painful, because he starts acting like he ate without watching YouTube. The injection starts acting, so he turns on the strobe and turns into a mutant. He's gonna bother us for a while, until Blade completely annihilates him.
Phew, this thing smells like a dried out turd!
After JC runs some tests, it turns out that Alexis is behind all this, who is apparently a hot piece.
Hot piece like that and she's into this.
Well, damn.
Right, okay. I think her promo photos might be photoshopped. She's using a substance called U4 to turn people into mutants.
U4.
U4?
U4.
U4? Why not U2? Bono could be their mascot. According to JC, this substance is 100% pure, and that's causing the mutation. Wait a second, what's Alex's last name? Is it Heisenberg?
What I produce is 99.1% pure.
Now Blade wants to sneak into their lab to get hold of some U4, only for research purposes, of course. Yeah, sneaking is not exactly my strong suit, so it kinda turned out like this. But sneaking in a 98 FPS game, that's quite the innovation, right? Once we find the serum, we transfer it over to JC as zeros and ones. Yeah, this is the 90s.
Whoa, Blade. This is heavy stuff.
Surprise, surprise, JC was right. It is indeed 100% pure. And now our goal is to find Alexis and stop whatever she's planning. I will translate. Save the world from this maniac homicidal.
Hot piece.
But unfortunately, she has quite a lot of things up her sleeve. So we need to make a lot of stops, like the waterworks, an oil rig. The oil rig and the C-sections were my absolute favorite levels. I always loved oil rigs in video games for some reason. It's remote, scary, and full of good hiding places. The C looks awesome, especially for 98, and using the spear gun was an absolute blast. In the meantime, we find out that Alexis basically has a cult, full of simps.
No how, no way, ma'am.
I love obedient men.
So this is gonna be tough. We go through a jungle, drive an ATV with crappy controls, have a mental breakdown 100 times because of the snipers, only for Alexis to catch us and turn Blade into a mutant. This was a great addition, honestly. We have to participate in a mutant fight club to turn back into human, and after this, we head straight to her mansion, just to find out she's leaving the taps running. Come on. The mansion is full of traps and interesting statues. Final boss fight, but a familiar section before that.
Good morning, and welcome to the Black Mesa Transit System.
And of course, Alexis gets away, because Blade is clearly not thinking with his head.
Because I have something very special to show you.
Save it for someone who cares, wench.
But John, I'm willing to bet my life you've never seen anything like this before. Watch.
I don't
This!
Oh, hell. Whoa, what the?
In the outro, Blade types up his report on a black screen. And of course, it's a happy ending. All the U-Force have been destroyed, but Alexis's body was not found. Blade is not gonna give up, however, and gonna keep looking for her body. God knows why. Credits are also funny. I love these photos. Okay, so what do I think about SiN? I really enjoyed it. It's a fun game. The gunplay and gun variety was great, with a lot of futuristic and non-conventional weapons. I really like the level design as well. None of the levels were linear, and you can complete most of them in a lot of different ways, like rushing in blindly or finding a hidden path, or using your gadgets to your advantage. And these maps were quite complex as well, which is even more impressive if you consider that this game is 26 years old. SiN also had a lot of things that I didn't even expect, like the terminals, the armor system, the damage system, the vehicles, and enemies can shoot the gun out of your hand. How cool is that? It is clear that Ritual Entertainment put a lot of work and love into this game, and the thing I liked the most was the humor. JC and Blade go so well together, and their constant chat makes this game stand out. The voice actors are also spot on. JC sounds like an actual geek guy, Alexis is the typical evil villain, and Blade the macho tough guy. And the whole thing just screams 90s. It's so cheesy, but I love it. But the question still stands. How is it compared to Half-Life? The thing is, they cannot be compared. Half-Life and SiN are two completely different styles. Half-Life's tagline was run, think, shoot, live. SiN's would be run, and shoot more. Unfortunately for SiN, Half-Life shifted the FPS genre in '98, and SiN was too late for the party. Half-Life introduced a more linear, story-based shooter. The plot was deeper and more serious, and it was told through NPC dialogues rather than cheesy cutscenes. It seems like people wanted this change, and Half-Life gave them that. You played as a scientist, not a killing machine anymore. But I would also like to hear your opinion about this. Does that mean SiN deserved to lose to Half-Life in '98? Of course not. SiN is a product of a run-and-gun era, which was not for everyone anymore, and it was less revolutionary than Half-Life. But I would still recommend you try this game. It's a short game, it's fun, and it has an expansion pack, which I haven't even talked about. There is also an animated movie based on this game, which was pretty cool, I think. So yeah, recommend that too. And as always, thanks for watching. Bye!